something I share with the ladies who can't make it. There's a bunch who want to come but couldn't make it at the time. But I just want to say my utmost gratitude to you for your presence here tonight, because I know that our time and our presence is our most precious possession, you know. And I'm always so honored and grateful that you have decided to come and spend some time with me, you know, and give me your precious time and give each other our precious time. So from the bottom of my heart, I'm so grateful that you're here. And I want to really dive into tonight. And I'm feeling a lot of heat and fire. I often, when I have these masterclasses, I get really hot because I have so much like channeling through me and so much I want to share with you. So I'm really pumped. I'm really excited about this particularly. This topic is very dear to my heart. Talking about manifesting millions or magnetic money or whatever I call it. It's the core work that I love to do. And what you're going to uncover tonight about what I'm going to share with you is I don't talk about money in the normal way that people talk about money. And I don't relate to money in the way that a lot of people relate to it. And I don't see money and business in the way most do. You see, to me, business and money are a portal for you to transform and to ascend to more of your true self. By you exploring your relationship to money and your relationship to business, and I have utterly been pulled apart, put back together, like, you know, back into my truest self more and more. I've evolved beyond anything. I've ascended so much in the last few years because of my business, the portal business has been for me, the portal that money has been for me. And that's why I care about it. I don't care about, oh, I get to go to this resort and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, no, that's all nice. But I care about it because every time I go to offer something out in the world and I go into my business and I'm serving my business and I, as a byproduct of that, make money, I've evolved and become a whole new me in the process, you know? And money is waiting and beckoning you to that transformation on the other side of your journey with it. It's beckoning you to become more of your true self. It's beckoning you to actually realize your power. And money is just a byproduct of you realizing your truth and your true nature and your power. Money just happens when you do that. And whatever you're bumping up against money now and whatever your challenges are right now, it's just life reflecting back and the universe reflecting back what your issues and relationship issues are with the universe itself, with life itself, with yourself, with your worth, with, you know, this is what money is here to teach you. So the more I work with money, the closer I get to my true self, the closer I get to the universe, the closer I get to my spirituality, the closer I get to my evolved like being, the closer I get to evolving you ladies and supporting you on your ascension. People think money is an icky thing and they don't necessarily want to talk about it. They sort of want it, but sort of don't, and think it's going to make me bad. And it's not the way money is. Money is painted in this evil, corrupt thing, like, and these money hungry people, like, that's not what money's here for. It's a neutral energy that wants to expand you and amplify you. If you've got love in you, it's going to expand and amplify that, you know? And so I'm so excited to introduce you to the money I know and to the soul of money. And I'm excited to open up your world with this work and open up your transformation, evolution, ascension, because then when you are playing more of that role yourself, you can be the person you are and be the medicine you're meant to be for this world. You living your true purpose fully, unbridled, freely, choosing all the options. Like, so when we can work with money in this way, we unlock our potential and the people we're here to serve's potential. That's why I care about this. So I don't care about you just making some money and going to a resort. Like, awesome, great, you know, but that's not what we're selling ourselves short if that's what we think money is about. I'm getting hot. I'm saying a whole lot of stuff I wasn't going to say, but I think it's important. So tell me, what are you taking away so far? Because I'm going to jump into what I was going to say, but this just feels important to tell you. You know, there are a lot of people, while you're writing, I'm going to say this, like, there are a lot of people that talk about money and talk about manifesting, and I feel like sometimes it's at the level of like, what is in it for us or what is in it for our family, and it's like, that's all awesome, that's amazing, I love that, but there is so much more to it than that. You know, it wants to serve you and to help you serve others, and there's a mission behind money, there's a mission behind putting your business and work out in the world. So I'd love to hear from you. What's your key takeaway so far? What's landing? If you can just put it in the chat. A lot of love to give. Yes. Money is energy, letting go of our limiting beliefs important. Yeah. Money is energy. It is literally just this neutral energetic force, and it's just responding to you and your relationship to it. And so much of us, like we're like, I want money and whatever. But if you actually look at your relationship to it right now, and if it was a person and a partner in your life, it's like, what's the quality of it? It's like probably wouldn't necessarily be great. If it's not showing up for you at the moment, like it's probably reflected in the relationship you have with it right now. Getting warm over here, just open the door, ready to discover the greatest self by learning through money. Amazing. Brought up with money is evil and greed. Yeah, for sure. That's like where a lot of us are brought up, power, sex, money, magic, all the things that I love talking about now. It's like they're all the taboos that are the bad things that are like, we're not big. But why do people find it so taboo and so corrupting and so scary and bad and evil and demonic and whatever? Because it's the access point to our power and feminine energy, accessing our power and our sexuality and our money and our, spirituality and like, magic, all of this. We are unstoppable. If you know how to access all, you are a flippin' unstoppable being that can't be controlled, that is free, and they are scared of that, So I'm here for you to be a free, unstoppable, beautiful being, that goddess that you are here to be. Are we all there for that? Are you guys wanting that for today? Awesome. Love it. Okay, let me go into what else I'm going to say. There will be a lot of times I go off track because I'm just channeling what I'm meant to. So bear with me on that. So I'm just going to tell you very briefly about my story. The reason I'm saying this is because I'm going to do it briefly, but you will learn things from my journey and you will relate to things and get insight. Sometimes the key thing that people get out of the whole time is like the story that I share. So really listen in intuitively to what is the universe trying to say to you through this. So I just want you to understand that for 33 years of my life, I struggled with money. I battled with money. I had problems with money. I hated money. It hated me. I never really broke through and got what I wanted, As a kid, I grew up in a family where scarcity was a big thing. I felt a lot of fear around money. I felt a lot of powerlessness around money. I didn't feel like it was something in my control, and even jobs and things were something I had any control over. There were these big forces in the world that would determine whether you'd lose your job or have it or get money or not, and feast and famine, because my dad grew up in a farm. And there was that sort of environmental out of control element in his upbringing. And he then brought that up and gave it to me. And this is the thing, right? So many times in our family, in our lineage, we're not taught things that are really supportive for money, and our business and our transformation, our limitlessness. It's actually limiting us. So this was the blueprint that I got. And then my past, I was in this time capsule and portal where I then just brought that through my whole life and experienced money exactly the same way, experienced life exactly the same way, in this really powerless, limited way. And I would have jobs and I wouldn't be able to sustain the job. I wouldn't be able to keep it, and it would be some random government decision that would mean we'd be made redundant or whatever. Like all these things were manifested. And then I started my business, still having this issue with money, still having this problem with money, this problematic relationship with it. And then, I was working 50 hours a week with a newborn son. If you don't know much about my story, like I was with my husband for 10 years and all of a sudden I discovered that, he was cheating and we weren't able to face it and work through it. And so I asked him to leave and we broke up, and I was 6 months pregnant. I was on mat leave. I wasn't earning any money. He wasn't necessarily paying me very much. And so I was just sitting here as a single mom, was bent to start a business and well-being and coaching. And no way I was going to be able to do that. I was so depressed and sad about all of this work, the stuff that was happening. And I just got myself in a really bad financial position. But, long story short, I did some work on myself and I went to this motivated area of like, I'm going to start my business. I'm not going to let this get in my way. I'm not going to let this take another thing away from me. But it was so hard for 3 to 4 years of my business. I just worked like 50-hour weeks with a newborn son, trying to do everything I possibly could, getting every strategy coach, any penny I made in my business, I would put it straight back into my business and buy a coach. I was never able to give me and my son anything, for years, because I just kept pulling it into my coaching business. And I couldn't break through. I couldn't get these 10K months that everyone would go on about, I'd go 0K, 2K, 5K, 7K, back to 0K. Like it was just yo-yoing all over the place. And it didn't matter how hard I tried, how much work I did, how many strategies I learned. Like I had strategy coach after strategy coach, did everything they said, spent $300,000 by this point in my business. And I got myself into $20,000 of debt. Fourth year into my business. I got myself to this position where I decided, like, I signed up with this gung-ho strategy guy, right? And I decided, like, I'm going to go all in. I'm going to be a pro and I'm not going to be an amateur. So that means I'm going to put $5,000 a month down in this, coach, even though I didn't have any consistent money. And for 4 months, by listening to the stuff he said and by doing everything he said, I went to zero sales. It was the worst time in my business for 4 months. And so I was going negative and I was borrowing this money and I was negative $20,000 at this point. And I was so shameful. I was so guilty. I put myself and my son in this position. And I just was repeating this past that I could not get out of. I was powerless. And it didn't matter how I tried, how much I'd spent, how many coaches I had, how many mentors, how many strategies, how many actions. Like I had 20 sales calls. Every single person said no. Like I wasn't sitting there on my hands just like trying nothing. I was doing everything. And I uncovered some key things here that now from 4 years, this was 4 years ago for me now. I never went backwards ever again with money from that point on. I had 33 years of my life to this point, get to the worst place financially I'd ever been. And then all of a sudden in 1 month, I make a 20K month and I never go back ever again. But 33 years, the same pattern. Now it just keeps growing and building. What on earth happened? What changed? I went from 20K and then I went to 40K and then I went to 60K and then I went to 100, 200K, like all these launches. How on earth did I struggle for 33 years trying everything I could, struggling in jobs, struggling with business, money, whatever? How on earth did it just all of a sudden change and flipped a switch and then it didn't happen again? I'm going to tell you how. I'm going to tell you how you can create this change as well, because you don't need to struggle anymore. You don't need to battle anymore. You don't need to be powerless anymore. You can have I want you to understand this. You are the predominant creative force in your life. And that means that you are the predominant creator when it comes to money. And whatever you're experiencing right now, the sooner you can understand you are not a victim to it and you are the powerful creator of it, even if you don't like it and you don't want it and you are so angry that you would think you would create anything like this, you need to understand that you are powerful. And if you're not getting what you want right now, you're powerfully creating that. Seems a bit silly, but this is one of the most important things you need to understand. Because for my whole life, up until that point, one of the main things I believed was that I was powerless around money and that it was out of my control and that it didn't matter what I did, it wouldn't change anything. That was one thing I believed. But this 1 month, I started working with money in this way. And I looked back and I saw blow by blow, every time I did anything inside here, how it changed my outside reality with money. I started to see how actually I created all of those experiences. And it was just a mirror of what was inside. And this is the first thing I want you to understand, that I want you to really get, is that you need to understand and see how you are powerfully creating all right now, co-creating it. Even if you don't want it and you don't like it and you feel powerless, you are creating that. When I looked back at my timeline, I saw when I broke up with my ex-husband, I asked God and the universe to give me the exact same amount of money every month that I used to get in my old job. And I just believed that God and the universe would give it to me. I didn't know how, but I believed. For that whole year, I believed that. I earned the exact amount to the dollar, to the cent that I used to get from my job. It didn't always come from my business. It would come from all these different ways. But every time I looked at that month, I got the exact amount of money. Was I creating that, or was that just a fluke? The 1 month, I leave the house I lived in, I go live at the beach, I start believing it's not going to happen anymore. For some reason, God stayed back with my family and I've gone away, and so it's not coming with me. I believe it's not going to happen. Well, guess what happens? $0 that month. And then I start getting really upset and triggered in my life, and like my business goes down. And so I stop my business for 2 months and I just do coaching work on myself. And I have this insecurity coach I'm working with. And I'm not doing any business. I'm not trying to manifest. I'm not trying to do strategies, nothing. I'm just doing emotional work. I start feeling better. Guess what happens? I start manifesting all these people coming to me, and money comes to me. I get triggered by this guy, feel shit a few months later. The heater breaks, the garage breaks, money comes out of my account all everywhere. Do you not see that? Like, I can tell you month by month, all the time, how I created everything and it was just coming inside of me. So, one thing I want you to get is that you are the predominant creative force in your life. And whether you're creating what you do want or don't want, it doesn't, you need to see that. Because until you see that, you are a victim to this external world, but it's not, it's a mirror of inside here. And when you see it's a mirror, you can change it and it can change. The moment I started changing stuff in here deeply, the moment I knew how to, was the moment, 1 month, my whole 33 years, the same shit. 1 month, 20K a month, and bang, never again. You know, never struggle, like continue to grow with it. Not saying I don't have issues with money and I don't have to work through things all the time, but I know how to work with it and how to grow it now. So that's one of the things that I need to tell you. I'm just going to say a couple of things of this story, and then I'm going to go into like the deep, deep work. Yes, it's a mirror, very difficult to look at. It is. And I used to play the victim card as a single mum and actually think that it was better for me to be the victim to everything and everyone and whatever. For like years, I did it until I realized, like, I'm not making what I want with this. I can't create anything. If I'm the victim to life and people and money, and then I'm screwed. Like, there's nothing I can do, you know? So that was the very first thing that I started to do that really shifted the game for me. And the second thing I want to tell you is that your intuition is primary with this work. Your energetics and your intuition. You see, for 4 months and for years, I was trying to listen to these strategy people and do all these actions. And I was listening to them and thinking they were the guru, but my intuition is the guru. That 1 month, I stopped doing what he said to me to do. And I did something I felt called to do. I started teaching stuff I wanted to do, not what he told me. I started teaching things I was excited about, I was energized by, not what he said. And my intuition trumped. It knew what is powerful. It knew what's my way, which may not be the strategy way, and it's often not, right? And I made money by following my intuition. And so now the last 4 years, I've got coaches and support who refine my intuition, who refine my superconscious, who refine my emotional energy world, you know, because if I do this, then everything else falls into place. But before, when I try to just do action and strategy and deal with the external world, and it didn't work because the focus was off. The energetic focus was off. It's 80% energy, 20%, you know, emotions and 20% strategy, sorry. And so when I started to work with my intuition and energy, like bang, it started to shift. Yeah, it's very masculine. Yeah, 100. And it doesn't mean, I'm not saying that that's not important. And like, it's still a part of my business. I'm on the call right now talking to you girls. I'm doing something. I'm not sitting here just meditating, right? But the energy priority has to be different, right? And two last things I want to say about this story. The other thing I changed in this 1 month was that I started to go into service. I started to care about my mission and the women I was working with and serving more than the money that I would get from it. Because before this point, I was so desperate and needing money. All I was caring about unconsciously was like, these women have money and I need their money because, you know, I'm a single mom. I need it. Like, and they could sense that unconsciously that I was needing it and I was not coming from its deep mission service. So in that month, I stopped, just put that aside, put my problems aside. I was like, I'm serving this mission. I'm serving these women. I'm caring about what they're going to create and how they're going to transform. And I put my energy focused there. And I was like, I know that if I do that, I'm going to get taken care of. You know, if I'm looking after them and I'm really serving, like I'm going to get taken. And I was, you know. And the last thing I want to say, which I'll talk about in time as well, is that I also worked with my energy around scarcity and abundance. That month, you know, there was a lot of reasons as to why I should feel scarce. But, you know, my bank account wasn't good and every bill coming out would freak me out more and more. My nervous system was very triggered and, you know, low. But I was able to really tune into the scarcity and that fear and let that be and really let it feel it and like just give it air, see it, feel it. And then I would go back to seeing abundance and how abundant I was, because it's all a matter of focus. I still had abundance all around me. People were supporting me. I had, you know, things, money was all around me everywhere. The earth was providing me with oxygen and water, and like abundance is everywhere. It's just an attitude and what we're focusing on. So I'd start pivoting my focus from scarcity to abundance. You cannot create an abundance tree with a scarcity seed, you know? So one thing I want you to think about is like, how much time are you spending in scarcity and fear in your life, not just with money, but in time and pressure in your energetic world versus abundance and gratitude and what you do have and what you would love, you know? So I'm going to just pause there, put in the chat what your key takeaway is, because I'm going to start to share beyond my story now and the other 3 keys that I want to share with you. But I'd love to hear, what's your key takeaway so far? Beautiful seeing your faces here as well, by the way. Gorgeous women. Care about your mission, be in service. Yeah, it's a very high vibration, you know, your mission and your service, for sure. We had rain today, so much abundance. Yes, like just looking through the eyes of abundance, looking for that around you. It's beautiful. Hard to believe we are powerful sometimes. It is hard to believe we are powerful sometimes, but really owning that we're creating, like what's, you know, co-creating what's going on, is so vital, so important. Even if we don't like it, there's a part of us that is co-creating it, you know. We manifest our money situation. Yes, it's a mirror to what's happening inside. Happy that I can massage my vibration. Massage your vibration. I thought you were talking about vibrators. I don't know what I'm not sure which what you meant. It's more about legacy. The money is a byproduct of the love, the work. Yes. And I'm going to talk more about that. Sitting with the scarcity. Yep. Sit with it, see it, you know, but just pivot that energy. I need to listen to my intuition more than my head masculine, though I don't get answers sometimes. It's always speaking. Sometimes, you know, we don't know what it said, or we're not following through on what's obvious, but you know, there's more to that, and I can talk to that a bit later. Staying in tune with our intuition, learning to let go of the old narratives, especially around religion. Yes, yeah, and all the, you know, stuff we've brought up with around money and our limits and all the things. Follow your intuition, it knows best. Yes, I could tell you so many stories about where my intuition led me up very interesting ways, and it always was phenomenal. Forget we are predominant creative forces in our life. Yes. How powerful our blueprints operate through our lives. Yeah, we're often living just a time capsule, you know, and there is so much depth of the specificity of what we can create, you know, from our unconscious place, like, and relive just through. But we can change it, and we can imagine, and we can create new, you know. Yes, predominant creative force. As within is so without. Yep. It is uncomfortable to own, but it's so vital. We can't change without owning that. You know, if we're a victim, like there's no ability to change. It's all out of our control, you know. Just loving the passion with which you're sharing. Yeah, I get very hot when I do these. I love it. I get so in flow with this. I love it. One of my favorite things. Always creating this, so focus on what you want to create. Yes. Switching to service. Yeah, 100%. Abundance. Intuition is your guru. Yes, that's right. I literally have a coach now that all we do is like refine my intuition, refine my superconscious. It's the most beautiful, brilliant thing, you know. And obviously I know strategies, and there's things that I pull in as well, but like that's my predominant tool that I strengthen, because that's changed my life. Totally responsible for everything that manifests. Yes. I love that you talked about the way you treat money. Yeah, it is. It is. And it will show up for us based on that, for sure. Yes, it influences our children, for sure. It's our place here to change our trajectory for our kids, you know, and what we're bringing forward too. Beautiful. Okay. So I want to share now 3 key elements that are really practical, that are going to help you really change the way you're relating to money and experiencing money. You see, this 1 month where everything changed for me, I started to learn something called the superconscious, and it's our power of our intuition. And I've spent now over $800,000 on personal development mentors, programs, high level, big wealth women earning 30 million a year, 50 million a year, whatever. Like I've been in these rooms with these phenomenal people. And I can tell you with my hand on my heart, like without a doubt, there is nothing that trumps the work I've learned from the superconscious. Why? And what I'm going to show you right now is because it goes to the structure and the core of why you're creating what you're creating and how to create differently. There's a lot of fluff out there. There's a lot of distraction. There's a lot of information that is information and it can maybe help, but it's just like so on that peripheral of the 20% that matters. You know, but when you get to the 80%, the 90%, you get to the core and the heart and you change like the root of what's going on, everything changed for me. That's why within that 1 month, it's all changed and it just continues to. I go on this crazy ride, right? So the thing I'm going to share with you now is really a core structure as to why you're having struggles with money. And actually, this is the core structure to why you're having struggles in heaps of things in your life. Because once we learn about how to magnetize and manifest, it's the secrets of the universe. You can learn it for any topic. It's not about just money. This is your power to wield magic and to wield power like the way you desire it. So to craft your life the way you desire it. So who wants to learn about that? A few. Awesome. So first thing you need to understand is it's actually not your focus that creates what you have in your life. It's your orientation towards your focus. It's your why. It's your motivation towards your focus. That is very different. You see, for years, I was sitting there, affirmations, I'm wealthy, I'm earning all this money, I'm, you know, whatever. I was focusing on this money and it was not happening. And it was actually the opposite was happening. I was like, what the fuck, you know, because there's a structure. Why was I telling the universe, I'm really wealthy, I've got lots of money, money, you know, the universe is like looking at it and subconscious like, why is she saying that? Oh, she doesn't have any. Oh, she's got a problem with it. Oh, okay. Like, cool. Okay, let's create that for her. Like, you know, because it doesn't hear all that. Just hearing the like deep why, the deep orientation. Why is she saying that? Where's it coming from? Oh, okay, that's where the power is. That's where the focus is. Right? So when it comes to money and anything in life, you're going to have 3 core structures, 3 core ways it's going to operate and come about. You're going to be stuck, you're going to be yo-yoing, or you're going to be flowing. When you're stuck, it's like a house, you know, bang, a slab of concrete, like bang, it's stuck, it's rigid, it's not moving, you know, it's there, doesn't move anywhere, no progress, no movement, no transformation, bang, slab of concrete, just staying there, you know. When you're yo-yoing and oscillating, it's like that rocking chair, it's the hamster wheel, you're moving, but you're moving nowhere, like there's movement, but you're just going back and forward, back to square one, right? And then there's flow, which is a car, like or a ball, and it rolls and it just keeps going. It's like this flow, the river just keeps flowing, right? So I want you to think about right now, if you just tune in and go, what's my relationship with money? How is it showing up right now? Like, is it stuck? Is it yo-yoing or is it flowing? I would love you to write in the chat, like, is it stuck, yo-yoing or flowing? Because I'm about to tell you why it is any of those 3 and how you can change it, which is pretty cool. You don't want a magic trick. That's amazing. So there's a lot of yo-yoing, a lot of stuck, dribbling. Yo-yo. Is dribble like a bit of flow, but very, very slow? Like, is that what dribbling is? Just what we want, like exponential. We don't want drills. We want, oh, you know. Awesome. Okay. All right. So I've had stuck, flow, yo-yoing and flowing. And I'm going to tell you how I've shifted gears and changed that, you know, in these scenarios. And as I said, this can be the same for other things. So the stuck structure comes about when your ego is louder than your heart. The stuck and the yo-yoing structure comes about when your ego and your head and your unconscious is louder than your heart, than your soul, than your superconscious. That's at the end of the day. If you're flowing in something, your superconscious, your genius, your intuition, your higher self is louder. it's got the energy, it's got the power. Your focus is predominantly there. You're coming at things and orientating from that space. And if it's stuck or it's yo-yoing, it's coming from your ego. It's coming from your unconscious. It's coming from your survival scripts, your identity, your childhood. It's coming from your 4-year-old self that made some decisions about yourself and how others are and money is and life is. And it's just living. The 4-year-old's driving the car, to your money. It's trying to drive to that pot of gold, but it's just taking all these U-turns and going the other way, right? Or your superconscious is driving the car and you're flowing and getting there. Imagine a 4-year-old trying to drive your car. Like, you're going to flip and get stuck and yo-yoing and you're going to do some damage, right? And that's what's happening. So you don't have to feel personal. You don't have to feel attacked. And this is actually really key for this. I want you to understand this. The ego and the unconscious is going to take this personally and think you're a piece of crap because you don't have money and you're unworthy and you're this and you're that, or you're, powerless. And it's going to say all these negative things about you, very inner critical. But the fact is, whether you have money or not right now, whether you've had it or not your whole life, whether your business is growing or not, whether your body and health is great or not, whether love is there, it's not, it's a structure. It's actually not personal. It's not about you. You just need to change the structure and bang, it changes. And this is so vital because the superconscious comes with love and compassion. And it comes with awareness and presence and pleasure and desire and positive expectation. That's your soul. That's your superconscious. That's your higher self. Your ego and your unconscious comes with fear, trepidation, survival, pressure. I'm incomplete, and so I need to go complete myself. Like, this is the negative, pessimistic. This is all going to be hard, and then when I get it, it's going to suck. Like, this is what the ego is doing, right? So I'll answer your question and tell me if you've got that question later, Wendy. So when you're stuck, your ego's agenda is in control. Your ego's agenda is in control. And so it has an idea, and it basically says, hey, you're incomplete and you're not good enough and you're not whole and worthy and capable and powerful and blah, blah, whatever it says, right, about you. So you need to go do this, complete that, learn this, go there, do this wild goose chase, then you'll be worthy and good enough, and then you can have money, and then you can have your business, and then you can have love, and then you can whatever, right? So when I used to be stuck, one of the times I was stuck, I used to have this desire to create 40K months. And the moment I started desiring to create 40K months, it actually clogged up my business, clogged up my wealth, clogged up my opportunities. Why? Because my orientation to 40K was like, I'm going to be enough when I've got 40K months, or I'm going to be worthy, or I'm going to be seen as powerful and whatever. And, oh, hang on, but I'm actually not worthy. I'm actually not enough for that. So I need to go do this course, get this mentor, figure that program out. And I need to go pretty myself up, look better like here, sound better here, change my voice there. Like, I had to do all this stuff before I could get to this point, and I wasn't worthy enough for it anyway. And all of this goose chase is just going to show me I'm not worthy enough and I'm not going to get it. So the energy, like, I wasn't sitting there doing nothing. I was doing lots, but I'm not moving anywhere with money or with the desire I had because I'm sitting there goose chasing all over the place of Melbourne and the world, trying to be worthy and complete and all the things. Being enough and being, learning enough and modeling enough and sounding whatever. So I wasn't going for what I wanted. I was going for all these other things. It was taking all this time and energy, right? And I also had these ideas like, well, if I start making money, and these beliefs and the ego's agenda, ego's beliefs were coming up really loudly, and that's where the energy was. And I had this belief, I remember one time, it's like, if my business succeeds and I make money, then my son's going to get hurt. Like, it was just like, this equals this negative, this positive equals this negative, right? Like, my belief was that if I had a good business, like, the only thing I cared about and loved was my son. And I believed that I couldn't have many good things in my life and I could only have one good thing. And so if I have a business, then that means my son's going to get hurt because I can't have two loves, So I'm not going anywhere. I'm not actually even trying to progress in my business unconsciously if I think my son's going to get hurt. Like that's ridiculous, right? I'm not going to go for it. So I was sabotaging myself all the time because deep down I had this conflicting belief, right? So your ego, you're stuck right now. If your ego's agenda is louder and its beliefs are louder than your true desire, than your superconscious. Okay. So, and I want you to think when I'm thinking through saying this, like how maybe, even beliefs like it's going to corrupt me, it's going to make me evil. Like I used to think like, that if I made money, I'm going to become a really bad person. Everyone's going to hate me, or people are going to go want to take my money. And, all this stuff used to be what I thought. And so I wasn't going anywhere with that. Right. So that's the first one. The second one, and I'm going to talk about the flow that's going to make sense on how to create that as well. But the second one is that yo-yo structure, which some of you had as well. Now, the yo-yo is that I have something called a negative vision, or something that I'm deeply afraid about. And I'm going for money, or I'm going for this thing out of a reaction to the thing I don't want, the fear that I have. And I'm focused on my fear. I don't want this to happen. And so I need the opposite to happen. Right? This is what a yo-yo is. Now, for instance, I was yo-yoing in my business when I used to be so deeply afraid about getting into debt and like losing money and not having enough money and being even homeless with my son. Like I had a massive fear about that, and that I just completely fail and like be stuck in a really bad place. Like that was an obsessive fear that I had. And I was trying to do everything in my power within my business and everything to run away from that, to not create that, to get coach after coach, to get thing after thing, like to get out of that position. But the energy was in this fear. I was actually, it was fair. It was terrifying, but I was actually really focused on the fear, that's why I was doing everything. The motivation was because I didn't want this to happen. So I've got to go do all this stuff, right? So the power is in the fear. I'm feeding the fear, all this energy. And what did I do? I created it. I created myself getting to 20K debt and nearly actually having to lose my house, right? That was one time that I yo-yoed. Another time I was yo-yoing. And the reason that is because, again, the fear's actually got all the power. So that's why it's just feeding. Fear is being fed. And that's the main energetic lifeblood source. It's like a leech just sucking all of the energy, right? Another time I started yo-yoing was because I just started like wanting enough money in my bank account, or just enough for a retreat resort, like a few things, whatever, right? And what would happen is I would do a launch and I'd make 100K or 200K, and then I would like for 6 months, like just ride that money and just like, oh, cool. Now I'll back off on my business. Oh, I have some money now. I can go on some retreats and resorts and whatever. Like, awesome. I'll just cruise control, I'll sit back and I won't do any other work. I'll just work every 6 months, I'll do my work with the clients, but anything else in my business, like I'll just shut that off for 6 months. I won't market for 6 months, And then I'd get to the 6 months and go, oh shit, I've spent all that money. Like, oh crap, bang, go market, like make all this money. And then I'd get it. And then I'm like, ooh, cool, let's cruise. Like, and I just kept doing that. And it kept yo-yoing because the motivation is the fear. And I didn't have the fear anymore. I had the money. And so I didn't need to do anything. But then all of a sudden, shit, the fear would come up again, bang, bang, bang. It was yo-yo. Because it's not actually in the true end result I want, the true desire I want. It's in what I don't want. And as soon as I run away and I don't have what I don't want, it's like, oh, I'm all good. And then, oh shit, I'm back here again, right? I want you to tell me your key takeaways from the stuck in the yo-yoing before I talk about the next one. Key takeaways. Put it in there for me. I can totally relate. Yeah, made that happen. I have a belief that if I have a good business, my daughter is going to be neglected. I'll be a bad mum. Yeah, it's very, very common, hun. There's such a thought of like, our kids are going to neglect it. Like, we're not going to have this presence with them, all this, they're going to lose out and we'll get guilty and all this stuff. And the fact is, like, and I can speak from my experience, is that the more money I have, the more time I get to decide to spend with my son and get support in my house so that I don't have to do chores and stuff so I can be with him. It's brought more presence for me. Not saying, I've had to work to do that, but fear has the most power over you. Yes. If you're in the yo-yo, yep. Lifelong patterns. Yep. When stuck, the ego is louder than your heart. Yes. I can feel the abandonment from my own mum. Oh, yeah. Feel you, hun. And this is the thing, right? It can become a negative vision of something as well, where we're like trying to run away from that experience that we used to have, from our family. But it's not still coming from the next phase that I'll tell you about. When we focus on what we fear, we create it. Yes, yo-yoing is driven by the negative vision. The last story concretized it for me. Yeah, great. Don't want that. So do this instead is based on the fear. Yes, yeah. And so it's just like, I don't want this, I don't want that. The energy is in that motivation of what we don't want. It's not actually about what we do want. It's just all consumed by what we don't want. It's the real focus. Yes. Consistency is key. Yep. Fear of having it all. Definitely. There's upper limits, lower limits. I mean, that's a whole nother masterclass I'd have to tell you about. The having it all piece is massive. Getting money and then relaxing. Yes. Yep. So how do you tell the fear to take a hike? Good question. I will answer that at the end if you still have that question, hun. Any questions, like, I'm going to leave some time at the end to answer. Coming face to face with the shadow is real. Yes. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So now, ladies, the flow phase. The flow phase. The flow phase is created when your focus, your orientation, why you're doing what you're doing is because of your true desire, your heart's desire, your true end result, your soul, your superconscious, your heart, your higher self, your true self. The energy is in just what it desires and wants at the purest form of truth. The other two were false agendas, not really. It's what your 4-year-old wanted because it feels incomplete, and it's not the real you, the true you. And so when I started, so in my retreats, for instance, I ran a retreat in Bali last year, and at the beginning, it was stuck, that launch. It wasn't moving. So why? I had an agenda. My ego had an agenda. It was very, very scared about my brand and my image looking bad and no one coming and it looking like a flop and everyone looking at me like, what the heck, I'm as a piece of, nothing and whatever. I was very scared about that. And so it didn't matter what I did, how much movement I did or whatever, how much I spent, threw money on ads, like whatever it was, it doesn't matter. It wasn't going anywhere because it was stuck, because the structure in my consciousness was about this and the energy was there, right? I could tell you example after example of launches of mine where this has happened, right? I then changed to, I did this work on myself and I did my intuitive work and I realized, like, what's my true desire here? What do I actually want? What's my heart want this for? What's my soul want this for? Because there's my soul wants it and my ego is scared of it for another reason, right? When I went into my heart, it was like, I actually want to connect with women and have this most incredible, phenomenal, beautiful connection with them and have this time of our lives together. Like, that's one true desire that I have. And I love travel. I absolutely love travel. And I love experiencing the beauty of land and like the way it transforms you. I love personally having it and also facilitating that for women. So going and traveling, like amazing, and transforming and channeling the work I've done and the stuff I put together. Because every time I go and run anything, even this masterclass, it clarifies for me my work even more, and I love channeling and I love seeing women just completely create magic and like completely transformed on the other side. That was the reason I wanted to do it, right? That's what my heart wanted. The moment I tuned into that, connected to that, put my energy there, put my focus there, kept going back to that. Every time I was afraid of the image and the reputation, it's going to shit, no one's going to come, I'm going to waste all this money and no one's, go back to that. Because in my heart, I didn't care if one person went, I'd do it, I'd still go, like, and we'd have an amazing time. Like, my heart doesn't care about that. My heart doesn't care about that. Right. And then as soon as I shifted that, bang, the launch flew. And I created the most, beautiful experience with these women, right? Because that was my true desire. In my masterminds and other things that I've had, I started making it not about 40K months or even this many people in the program or whatever it is. I just started making it about what's the end that we create together? How do they transform? Like, what do we experience together? What do I really love about this? What, if I was coming at this from wholeness and just completeness within me, why do I want to do it? What's the deep love, the deep passion, the deep core reason that my soul wants to do this? Right? The moment I connected to that, the moment I put my energy there and off the money thing, that's the moment I had a 100K launch. I was trying to think about 40K months. It blew out of the water because I was just connected to my heart and my soul and service and mission and the things that I really cared about, which were not the other stuff. I make more money now, more abundance. When I don't, the less I care about money. Like I've never cared less about it in a lot of ways. Like, in that I'm trying to focus on it and create it. I'm focusing on my mission. I'm focusing on my service. I'm focusing on my passion. I'm focusing on channeling this for you. I'm focusing on transforming women's lives, like freeing women, getting them to their golden goddess, like living this movement. This is what I'm focusing on. The more I do that, the more I'm propelled and compelled, the more flow I have, the less fear I have about whether it works out or not. And the more it does work out. Tell me what you're seeing, you know? And I'm saying this while you're typing, I'm saying this from a point of, I still acknowledge the fear. I still acknowledge my ego's agenda. I still acknowledge all of that. But I just go back to, but this is what I want. This is what my heart wants. This is what my soul wants. This is who I truly am. And I put the power back there and I move from that place, from joy, from love, from my heart. Take the energy out of the fear, take the energy out of the worry, take the energy out of the head, and go back here to my heart. So put in the chat, what's landing? What's landing for you? Step into the purpose and the unknown and fly. Yeah, look, the superconscious and the soul loves the unknown. It loves experience. It loves the unfamiliar. The ego doesn't, And, most of the time my true desire is just to be initiated and to evolve as well. It's like anytime I offer anything, like running this masterclass, anything I'm doing, like I'm evolving, and I love that part. Seeing other women too. When we align with our true purpose, magic happens. Yes, go for the vision of your heart, 100%. That is the highest vibration, that is the most powerful force on your planet. And it's the most magnetic force that the people who are meant to come to you will come to you. I could tell you, story after story. The last retreat I just ran in Peru, it looked like maybe 3 or so people were coming. I was hoping for like more of a group, but I was like, okay, that's fine. And I actually stopped marketing it. It was a month before, and I just kept connecting to the energetic of it and connecting to my intuitive work and my end result of my flow. And then the women just started popping out of nowhere and coming, like I can tell you all the time, like magic happens all the time like that. Every launch I've done, I could tell you. The moment I connect my heart to it, the moment I'm in flow with it, bang, it all opens up. But the moment I'm stuck and I'm not plugged in and I'm in my ego and I'm in my shit and I'm in, that structure, does not matter what I do. It will not change. It's structural, right? You cannot, doesn't matter how many times you push a rocking chair, like it will just keep rocking in the same spot. Doesn't matter what you do. Doesn't matter how much more padding you put on it, how much more money you chuck at the chair, like doesn't do it. It's the same thing, The conditions I set up to serve people doesn't really serve me or anyone fully. Yes, conditions, conditional. The ego is conditional. It needs certainty. The superconscious loves magic. Yes. I love when I manifest, or my women like that I work with manifest magic. Like, if you guys ever manifest anything, like, please tell me if there's any magical thing. Like I just get so off on like magic. I just love it. And that's what the superconscious loves. It loves pulling stuff just miraculously together and showing you like, ta-da, wow, do what you love and you will never work a day in your life. 1000%. Be brave enough to do what it is you really are passionate about. Yes, not what your head tells you. Yeah. And for me, like my retreats or my masterminds, like I don't run my retreat to make money. I run it because I love it, I absolutely love it. And the more I love it and don't run it to make money, the more money it makes, right? It's crazy. Who would have thought? I really resonate with flow. Not that I don't feel fear. It's an ongoing reminder of the why connected to the heart. Yes. Oh, thanks for coming, honey. Manifest the materials for my front porch. Well done. Awesome. So that is like just the key structural pieces that I wanted to leave with you, you know, and in terms of an actual practice and as a way to do this really simply and in a form is with anything you're going for and the offer that you're going for. And see what I'm saying here about flow is that I made it less about money and the money I was going to make, because the money stuff would bring up my ego. I actually made it more about the impact, my influence, the transformation, like, because I'm in the transformational space. If you're in another business, there's other true things for you, right? But the moment I made it about that, it was like the true desire. And so the energy would flow so much more. When I made it, and the money came as a byproduct. The moment I was making it about money, it just ignited my egoic crap, because I'm not worthy enough. I don't actually deserve that money, you know, and it just would bring up all the things that I had to do to become worthy. And, you know, it was a goose chase. So the way that I would like you to practice this is actually what, you know, you'd put together a head or an ego map versus a heart one. And what you do in that is that you have one column and you just write, like, why does my ego want this? Or what is it afraid about? What is it worried about? What's its worst case scenario? What's its fears? What's its attachments? Like, and you'd write everything specifically down of what your ego's orientated by, what it's worried about, what it's motivated by, what it's obsessed with, like whatever, right? You'd write all of that down, because awareness of that is so key. And then on the other column in your heart one, it's like, why does my heart really want this? What's this really deeply about for me? And I don't mean just fluffy, generalized stuff. Get specific, get clear, get really specific about it. And just keep writing as you're going through, like launching whatever or running your programs, or keep writing down like what comes up for you on either side, and just keep putting the energy, acknowledge the fear, and just keep putting the energy back into your heart. And I can tell you, every time I launch, the minute I'm in my heart more so, even if it's 51% predominant energy, bang, everything happens. But the second I'm still in this point, it just clogged up, right? So that's your little to-do. And I'd love to hear how you go with that. Would love to hear. I wanted to share with you an opportunity. And I was going to mention this at the beginning, but I forgot. But I hope that you've taken something out of this. I hope that you can see my heart as to why I care about this and why I care about freeing you as a woman to be your most powerful self. And I really, as I said, don't see this about money. It's about your power. And it's about your relationship to your superconscious. It's about your relationship to your highest self. It's about your relationship to life, to God, to universe, to money. Like, this money stuff happening in your business, like, it's just a reflection of that. And that's what we work on. And if we work on the depth of you and the core, everything in your life will change. Everything in my life has changed from this core work I do, the superconscious work. So I have an opportunity, and this won't not be for everyone, but I know that it will be for some, and that, you know, some of it might be tapping on your heart and you feel like there's a little stirring of, you know, I want to know more about this. I don't want just to have this 1 hour with Miranda. Like, I want to go to the depths of this, you know. And I want to tell you about 2 opportunities of continuing this, if this feels aligned or something you want to explore. And one is something I've only just told people about, which is something I'm very, very excited about, which is my next retreat to Fiji. I have a pilgrimage to Fiji. And the reason I call my retreats the pilgrimage is because it's the spiritual path to abundance, you know. And we're going to go to Fiji for 6 nights, 7 days on the 12th of October. And we are going to go to the most stunning place. It's one of the most beautiful resorts I've ever seen. It's going to be very lush, luxury, and we're going to dive deep. I've sort of called it like a couples retreat for you and money. It's like a couples retreat for you and money and your business, and like it's the spiritual journey to that. And so I'm going to dive really deep into it. You know, I've talked about this to a degree we're going to go deeper into this and deeper into practices that work with this. But I have 20 other areas that I'm going to cover, in that week, that are the gold I've excavated from the 8 years I've had in my business, from changing the trajectory of nearly a homeless single mom on the poverty line to now earning, $1 million in the last 18 months and growing bigger and bigger, as a single mom, working 10, 20 hours a week, right? Doing absolutely what I love. Absolutely what I love. There's been a lot of changes. There have been a lot of things that I've had to learn and uncover to create what I have now. And it's not even just the thing of and I want to be real with you on this, ladies, your ego is going to say, oh, nah, it's easy. I got this. I can figure it out. Don't worry, it says stuff like that because it doesn't actually want you to take the path to your transformation. It doesn't want you to take the path to your business success. It doesn't want you to take the path to money. It wants you to stay the same. And it will tell you all this crap because it's addicted to guilt and shame and powerlessness, and it wants you to stay there. But I can tell you now, I've spent $800,000 on, mentors, programs, whatever. I've spent 8 years in my business. I've worked on myself relentlessly, and I still struggle with my relationship to money. And I still need to use all of my alchemical tools to work on this daily. There is a blind refractory force, as my mentor says, that is against the will of God. There is this ego in you and this part of the life that does not want you to succeed, that doesn't want you to change, that doesn't want you to transform. And, this path isn't easy, but when you have the tools, you can transform. And that is exactly what this retreat is going to be about. And I'm literally giving every single piece that has changed my life and changed my relationship to money, abundance, my business, that has made it just grow in the last 4 years, astronomically. I'm giving you all the key pieces of that. I've never actually given so much of this away in any other form before. So the Fiji retreat, if you are interested in information, can you just put Fiji in the chat and we will get some info to you on that. The second one I just want to mention briefly before we wrap up is also my Alchemy mastermind. I have a mastermind that is my baby that we're up to number 8. We're up to the 8th time I've worked with this. And Alchemy came to me those 4 years ago when I started to really transform. It came to me and it was sort of downloaded and channeled by God, really, to me. And it's the 4 key pieces around the superconscious, your emotional soul world, business and intuitive business, and money that actually really going to change the game for you. And it's the most sort of in-depth, intimate space of working with me for 6 months together with these beautiful women. And we just go deep into peer support, one-to-one work with me, constant access to get support. It's that longer-term game. And the reason why I've got Fiji and I've got my retreats and I've got my mastermind at Alchemy is because the way I've learned and transformed the most has been through deep diving in a retreat experience, and then also being actually able to be held through the space of transformation. I've been held through the tension. I've been held through the journey, with all the ups and downs and with that level of intimacy and integration and mastery, So I've actually got an Alchemy opening up in the next few months. And so I'm starting to see who feels aligned to it, who's being called to it, who's getting a little stirring to it. So if you'd like info on my mastermind on Alchemy, on the 6 months, on the deeper dive together, please put Alchemy in the chat. And the thing I want to say here is that, the way that it works with me is it's an exploration together intuitively. I'm not someone who's like, I'm going to try and manipulate you into working with me. It's what is true for you, what is highest for you. I know that is also highest for me. And so when we're exploring any of this with info or calls with my team and myself, it's to see intuitively what is your best next step. I just want the highest for you and I want the best for you. And if that means working with me, amazing. But if it means something else, we'll tell you what else it is. We're very honest. I'm honest. Truth, love, and wisdom is Alchemy's values. That's what I live my life by. So what I'm going to do, I have this request. If you've said Fiji or Alchemy in there, can you please really please, this makes my life so much easier if you can do this for me. If you could send me a message on Facebook or Instagram and say you're interested in the info, it's so much easier for me to send it to you that way, because some of you have your names right and some of you don't, and I can't really find you and whatever. So that would be super, super supportive to me if you could do that for me. I would absolutely love it. And I'd love to have a chat to you and see how you went tonight anyway. The other little way I'm going to do it is there's a little link there. That's a form. I would really prefer if you just message me. That's my most easiest way. But if not, please click that link and put your info in there, and I will be in touch with you to sort of get info and explore whether we do an intuitive call around it or what. But ladies, I'm just so pumped because I've absolutely loved having this time with you. Before we do wrap up, I would love you to share your key takeaway from this whole night. And also, I am going to open up time for Q&A or, anything else, if there's something pressing of tonight or anything else you want to say. Yeah, but key takeaways at least in the chat would be awesome. And then, yeah, any questions or anything that you want to share and unmute. I'd love to hear you. Seeing all these beautiful faces. Love your work. Oh, thanks, Sue. Great to have you. I just love you ladies as women. I just got back with my retreat in Peru, and a couple of the girls are here on the call, and I just love like women and working with women so much. And honestly, the thing I get excited of my true end results now is just like my connection to women and incredible, phenomenal souls that I'm just so blessed to be in life with. Yeah, so love the divine connections. Yes, so good. Love all the lessons and learnings as always. Thanks, Leanne. Love you, hun. Thanks, Miranda. Had a huge breakthrough this morning. Amazing, Pauline. So good. Ego map and heart map. Awesome. Thanks, Deirdre. 64 years old. I'm just starting on this discovery journey. So good, Wendy. I love it when people and cover it at any point in the journey, and you're such an inspiration for your family and, to really be going in there. Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome. Inspiring. Thanks, Anna. Kathy, I'll spend time on my to-do list, soul and ego, and really unpack. Yes. Awesome. I broke through more in 2 weeks with you than in 10 years of work. Thanks, Sam. You're awesome. See, another person, so many of you guys here that just love so much. Thanks, honey. Does anyone have any questions? I love all the takeaways. Does anyone have a question or anything they'd like to ask? I want to do both the Fiji and coaching, so time to get that heart space in alignment. Yes, Deirdre. No questions. You can ask me anything. You could even ask me about my life. No, whatever you want. Whatever you want. I'm here to chat. But if no one has any question, then that's fine. Next week's winning lotto numbers. I'll have to tune into that, tune into my supercon. Actually, should try that, hey? Just do some intuitive tuning in. Can do a lot with my superconscious, so that could be the next thing. Maybe that's the path. Lovely to meet you. I need to go. Yes, good. Put her to bed. Thank you, hun. Awesome to have you. Hope that's Kangen water. Kangen water. Oh, my water. You're funny. Maybe. Who knows? Who knows? Could be vodka. No, it's not. Making choices from the egoic agenda will cause oscillation and stuckness. Tuning into our heart with a true power to flow. Yes. Oh, thanks, Wendy. That's so pretty. So cute. Money's made me more beautiful because it's made me evolve. Not more beautiful, but it's helped my heart be more me. So that's great. Okay, well, I'm just getting awesome random compliments and talking about vodka. If you guys don't have a question, I might duck off. Trust the end of the masterclass to bring this craziness. Anyway, if you do have a question or anything else, please message me. Please do message me because I would love to chat. I really care about all of you, and I was tuning in before this session. I just want to support you in whatever way, even if this just sparked something for you. Like I just hope it's inspired you and put you back into your power. So much love to you, ladies. We'll speak to you soon. Bye.